ideas, pictures, images, and curious little asides to sensations of the past or dreams of the future. Really, any of these things, whatever they are, there's nothing inappropriate about having these thoughts, and you should have them. You should let them come. In this safe space up here in the middle of the great outdoors, there's nothing that's off the table. And even if you sometimes feel wrong or feel that you have thoughts that should be better off gone from your mind, this is the time to look at them just for a few minutes. Tumble them around, figure out what they are and what they mean, maybe where they come from. And then, once you've had a moment to yourself to think, focus again on your breathing, back to it. Surely, if this is happening to you, you are experiencing the most natural part of beginning any meditation. Even masters have moments where their mind wanders to a subject that may have nothing to do with the moment. And to dissociate from the moment of meditation, to leave your thoughts of breathing, thoughts of your butt touching your chair, or the feeling of your glasses being on your face. It's pretty natural. Everybody has those. But to leave them and to focus on your breathing and then on your thoughts, it's a cycle. A natural one. And everything has a cycle. Nature, humanity, meditation. To not have these cycles of going in and out of meditation, to not think about being a part of this world and a part of your own world inside of you, that would certainly be strange. So ask yourself as you look out on this beautiful landscape, a landscape that is untamed, that asks for nothing, but can give us so much. What color are the trees? How does the sun look? Maybe it's overcast, or maybe the blizzard is dotting small spots of gray in a vast sea of deep silver. If it's like me at all, it's sunny out, and you can see where the rays of beaming light touch down and show the perfect green of the trees that seem to last forever. A lot can change with the weather, within us, and with the climate outside of us. But when we are sitting here, think about the control that you've gained over something so small like breathing. It can change everything that you're feeling. Breathe too much and you'll panic. Breathe too little and you'll start to feel the inability really to stop. To stop breathing, and the panic will onset once again. So finding that middle ground, not too much, not too little, it's a pretty important place to be. So where are you right now? You might be focusing on the slow and steady rhythm that you're making, which is probably a good place to be now. But you also might be focusing on the landscape that you see in your mind. Or you may be focusing on just the slow tempo of me speaking. Little breaths here and there. There is certainly a rhythm to the way that I speak, and there is a rhythm to everybody's breath, a tempo of air and oxygen. And it's such a small thing. Trying to imagine what it might be like without breathing at all. Surely it's an alien experience. Maybe we'll get to know what that's like someday, but for now, these deep Canadian forests, the hill that we sit atop, the far ranges and reaches of the snow, it can seem like an extreme environment. Regardless of that, though, we're sitting here in the midst of the extreme, and we're not panicking or afraid or cold. We're just watching and listening. Listening to the trees, the snow catching and eventually dropping from the leaves. Listening to the sound of the wind as it goes through the forest. And there's so much waiting for us in this world. A single breath in and out. So much. And each of us here, no matter what your age is or occupation or background, has so much more left to see. What do you think these trees, these hills and mountains and the snow could tell you? Today, when I went out for a walk in the 8 degrees Fahrenheit, the blizzard rushing through the area, there's a thrill to it, just a small one. Being a survivor in a harsh environment. And many of us have seen much harsher than that. And so that means we can't stop just now. In fact, being here means you're pushing forward. Being here means you're taking a chance, taking a step in the right direction. You think all these wonderful moments we share together, you think there's so much to them, but really they're simple. They're as simple as your next breath. The trails that we walk in life happen to cross in this moment. And I'm glad that they have. Whatever led you here to this place, certainly it is a good energy. And by now, there are many different people who would feel sleepy or tired, feel like maybe they're falling asleep. Believe it or not, I make myself tired with my own voice. It's an impressive feature. But I've used my own voice to calm myself down many times. In fact, I find it necessary in many cases. I hope that it has a similar effect for you. When it comes down to how you came here, I think you should be more thoughtful of what you're doing next than what led you to this moment. Because you could make a very strong change just from your next breath. Though it's a math that I can't fathom that you're here, it certainly is a powerful, powerful thing to imagine tomorrow. When we do that, when we spend some time just imagining what might happen next, oftentimes we think about how far we've come, but we still have a lot more time left to go. Even a year, things can change so much in 1 year. A lot of us have a lot of experience with that now. And maybe you're listening to this so far in the future that you don't even know what I'm talking about. And that's a good feeling too. It's a very good feeling. But, there's trouble at all times. Until we reach a point where there's no trouble anymore. I wonder how far we can take ourselves, how far I'll go. Certainly, though, I'd like to see an untroubled, unburdened time. I think it's a goal that I have to find my natural time to live it out. Certainly somebody with such a troubled past as mine, finding comfort in getting to the end, seeing it and living it through. It can almost seem like a bounty of ideas. And just a single breath can lead you to that. An inspiration for for so many things. And sometimes our lives can feel like a mishmash of things. It can feel like it doesn't really even make sense. But you know, sometimes life is a little chaotic and maybe it doesn't make sense because no one really understands exactly how fate or destiny or any of those things work or exist, or even if they're real. You don't really have to trust in the realness of any of those things because history is real. History is waiting to be made. It's already been made. Your history has a long way to go still. Because anything can change. I say that having changed so much that some days I don't even recognize how things used to be. But that's the ultimate victory over things like mental illness and hardship and survival, is forgetting how bad they even were before. Giving yourself the benefit, the satisfaction, the victory over not even needing to think about them anymore. Like breathing. So much peace and relaxation that you don't even need to think about it. The peace that the future will bring us. The future of kindness and one day maybe even utopia. Though, I wonder if that will ever exist. It's a promising thing, looking ahead, seeing how things might go. And I think that today here with me, in front of all of these people who are here with me in Second Life and in front of yourself, whenever you listen to this, no matter who you are or where you're listening from, just a small promise. Our promise to keep looking forward. And it can seem like a hard promise at times, but it can be really easy to think about tomorrow. I think it was a movie, I forget the name of the actor. They said, just imagine good things happening. Look ahead and think about them happening. And eventually they will. Imagination affects our emotions, our attitudes, and it affects our perspective. Just like the Mirror of Erised, if you know what I'm talking about. The happiest person alive would only see themselves if they could see their truest, greatest desire on a cold night, maybe even alone. They would be happy just sitting here, content to know that whatever is going to happen in the future, whatever effect or control that we might have, if any, is made moment to moment, breath to breath. And I've found there's an extreme amount of contentment in accepting the lack of control that we all have over the world around us. Just like I couldn't control that the snow fell today. I couldn't control that. I was going to enjoy myself out there. I knew it was going to happen because I wanted very much to have a good time, and that want, subconscious, imagined at first, but then real. It changed my perspective, such that a cold day can become as warm as you'd like. A story to tell. I do love a good story, like most people. And I've been making them up and creating them. Sometimes fabrications, but sometimes very real. Ever since I was born. It's strange, but there is a power to lateral thinking, to making something up. Something that computers can't do. A test that they can't pass. It's a human test. A test of thinking outside the box. And maybe that's something I do well, but it's also something that we're all capable of. It's the same energy that the Wright brothers had, trying out their first planes. And it's the same energy that all great inventors have. To look at a pile of junk and to say, I can make something great from this. And I used to see myself that way in the past. And it's very easy to forget how special every one of us is, no matter where we come from or what ethnicity we are, what gender we are. We all have such an important role to play. For the lives of the people around us and the people who respect us and love us. So as we breathe in, breathing in all that contentment and letting out all those negative energies that we have. Feeling our body as still as can be. Just soothed and sedate. Just imagine all of the good we can do. Together, working in unison and unity. Imagine all the positivity and wholesomeness, all the greatness in store, all the power of the future. And that storm, that blizzard above us, before we know it, it'll pass. And when the sun's out, when that beautiful God ray appears before us, we might even forget that it was there to begin with. It's a very special thing, the power that humans have. The healing of the mind takes a long, long time. Healing the body can sometimes be done with procedure and discipline, medicine, and great care. But there is something so much more fragile sometimes, so much more in danger. Our very personality and way of life, mentally. That is something that many of us risk damage to on a daily basis. And so to all those people, I have this to say. The strength that we have inside ourselves, that comes from the ones we love and the ones we care about. That passion and boldness, that serenity and peace. That is a treasure to be held tight and guarded, but free and open to those that we truly treasure as well. If you can keep that alive inside of you, that burning brightness, you can get through anything, and I do mean anything. And it can seem like such a burden sometimes, looking after yourself or even looking after others, which I'm lucky I don't have to worry too much about. That potential that you can inspire, that growth in yourself and others, that is a nurturing, kind, unbelievable thing. It's such a power that it's stronger than so many forces that are not for good. And the secret of harnessing that strength and holding on tight, I only wish I could master it myself. And I hope someday I will. I think that is a goal that every person should have, to become a master of their own body and their own mind. In moments like these, where we're just taking that breath in, thinking, accepting, and then out, letting go, letting clear, moving on. How much calm, how much joy we can find within ourselves. And it's the small things too, the small joys of this world, that I think can be so savored and so enjoyed and can be so powerful. Those small little things. Those small things that come from us and from others. I imagine sometimes we don't even notice them. Sometimes we don't even notice a smile on our face or tears in our eyes until our cheeks hurt from smiling or our faces wet from tears. I know the first thing that I forget after crying is how sad I was. And usually when I cry, it's such a release, a full body release. That might be why I enjoy it so much. And it may seem like a strange thing to enjoy crying, but sometimes that immense caliber of feeling, that vulnerability and truth and genuity, there's a pride in that. A true pride. And if you ever want to test if somebody is right for you or if somebody can be there for you, make yourself weak and vulnerable for them and show them that soft side. Because tears are a great uniter. When two people cry together and hold on to each other, especially when things feel at their worst, a bond is forged. Two links making a chain. And when you're linked together like that, it can be permanent. It can stand the test of the cold, like this outdoor wonderland or the heat of a volcano. And you have to hold on to those bonds. Hold them tight. Just like that fire from before. That fire that pushes you on through the cold. That same thing, that same brightness, that's a beacon for others to be guided by. And as we come to to the last few minutes of our ASMR for today. I'd like to thank everybody who took the time, who gave their precious 45 minutes to an hour to sit here or lay there and just be yourself, not having any goal or any direction, just being there. You've done a fantastic job. I hope you're proud of yourself, and I mean that. It can seem like an impossible and intimidating challenge to go through this sort of thing, to try and come out the other side, to take that hurdle. But you've done great. In fact, you've done superlative. And so to all of you, I'd like to say, keep going. And so I will wish you a lovely day. And I'll say this: your spirit will thank you later for the time you spend now, enriching it as often as possible. And so make sure that you thank yourself more than you thank me. And as always, I've been Cassius Mishima. It's been great to be here. And I'll see you next time.